Alright, so this is going to be part 5 to what if Deku had Danny Phantom's powers. And before I get into the what if, I gotta explain some things. I got a comment talking about like Danny Phantom's like strength and all that. So I'll put a time skip. I'll put in my description like what time to skip to get past this point. But if you want to stay around, and I'll explain why I didn't want to make Deku in this what if that strong, because Danny Phantom's like, from what the comment said, very overpowered. Alright, so the first thing that the guy said in his comment was that Danny Phantom was fast enough to fly around the earth in a few seconds, right? So let me tell you, okay, I'm not a power scaler, right? But I'm going to show you some quick calculations that I got. Alright, so the circumference of the earth is 24,901 miles. Alright, so let's say Danny would do this in 10 seconds, right? For a low ball. So that means he would be going 2,490 90.1 miles per second. So let's multiply that by 60, because there's 60 in a minute, 60 seconds in a minute, times that by another 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and you would get 8,964,360 miles per hour. Alright, so that's how fast it is. So what does that even mean? Okay, let's divide it by the speed of sound. So the speed of sound is 761.2 miles per hour. So Danny Phantom would be going Mach 11,760.61. Alright, that's how many Machs he's going. So let's use the feat that All Might did against One for All, where he traveled 5 kilometers in 30 seconds. Later on, it doesn't matter that it's kilometers. In a few seconds, I'll show you. So, from the calculations that I've seen online, this would put him at 0.4859 Machs. Alright, so you can see there's a big difference. But how big is that difference? So that would mean that Danny Phantom would be 24,236.7 times faster than All Might. Alright, that's an All Might that's not in his prime. If we take the USJ attack and say that he was actually 60 times stronger, like he said, that would mean that his max speed, well, he wouldn't be holding back against All for One because there was a kid in danger. So we times his Mach speed by 60, and we would get 29.154 Machs. Alright, that's a little bit faster, a lot faster actually. So how much faster is Danny Phantom now? He's still over 400 times faster. Alright, and that's only for speed. I'll go into the other calculations for well, not really, but I'll show you how strong he says Danny Phantom is. So he says that Danny Phantom can lift a mountain. So if we would take the mountain and put it into a regular geometric shape, so it's easier to do the math. So from what I have seen online, an average mountain would be over 20 billion metric tons. Okay, so that's metric. So if we were to convert that to pounds, that would be over 22 billion. Alright, so Danny Phantom, what if he's able to do everything that this comment says, does he solo My Hero? Probably. But I'm just saying this because I'm explaining why I didn't really want to make him this strong. So you guys can, comment down and criticize me. I take the criticism. I'm just showing you why I'm not going to make him that strong. And I do read the comments. I know that people have been, showing that he has a lot of abilities, but I'm saying that he's going to like learn them later on. But, if you guys think, yeah, if you guys think my character's too weak, then yeah, I'll change it a bit. But I'm not going to make him, like, if they're as strong as like these type of characters, where their physical strength is like way beyond everything else, then I'll kind of nerf them, but I'm just showing you why I'm not making him as strong as he should apparently be, because I looked up these like feats and I couldn't really find them, right? He also commented that like he can crush cars. Like, that's not really that big of a feat. Like the mountain feat is like probably billions of times stronger than crushing a car. So yeah, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm not trying to give any hate to anyone. I'm just showing why I'm not doing it like that. I'm kind of lowballing him, because if I were to make him as strong as he is apparently in this comment, then there'd be no story. Especially combine that with like the different abilities that he has, there would just be no story. It'd just be like One Punch Man, but as a kid, and not, and I don't think that's good for a What If series. So with that all out of the way, I can still take criticism. So if you guys want to comment though and say that, well, I think he still should be stronger, but not as strong as he is in that comment, you just tell me down below. So let's get into the what if. So in the last part, we ended off with, Deku and Yarashi, their fight in the cavalry battle, with Yarashi getting first place and Deku getting third, and Todoroki getting out. So after this, Midnight announces the next event, and this is when Ojiro comes up to Deku and tells him like, the person I was just with, he has some sort of like mind control power, so watch out for that. So Deku keeps this in mind, and it goes to the next fight. So most of the fights are the same. It's just that instead of Todoroki, it's Yarashi. So we get to the fight with Shinso. I think his name Shinso, the person with the mind control quirk, and he's going against Deku. So what happens is that Shinso asks Midoriya a question. He says, "How does it feel to be born with such a powerful quirk?" And Deku's kind of like, he's kind of like weirded out by this question, and he says, "What do you mean?" And this is when, the mind control actually activates. And, Shinso's like, I was born with this villainous quirk. All my life people have been telling me this quirk would be, the best for like a villain. But I don't want to do that. I want to become a hero. So I'm going to prove to everyone that even though my quirk might seem villainous, I'm going to use it for good. And, Deku's walking away. He's going to be walking off the stage, but, something in his mind is like kind of torn, because his movement wants to go, like he's being controlled, so he wants to like get off the platform, but he doesn't want to. So this actually makes like a tear in his mind, and this actually makes him split into two. So he unlocks the duplication ability that you see with Vlad, and the version of the Deku that's not getting mind controlled actually shakes the other one. And this is when he learns, or fully learns, the duplication ability. So yeah, he's going to slowly learn these powers over time. So after this, he basically just blasts Shinso out of the ring, but not enough to, like, hurt him, because he doesn't really have that, any offensive quirk. So we get to the other match with I think his name is Zero and Yarashi. It's basically, since Shiro uses tape to, like, tape people up, I think Yarashi would just use his wind to redirect it towards him and get himself wrapped up, or get Zero wrapped up in his own tape, and just, like, pick him up and carry him out outside the ring. So the next fight would be with Yarashi and Deku. And keep in mind that Deku doesn't want to rely on his quirk too much, so he's not going to use his intangibility. You could tell, I said this in the last part on why he's not doing it. So we get to the part where they actually have to fight. So what would happen is, they'd be facing off each other, from both sides of the ring. Yarashi would start with a few, in the last part I said that he unlocked a new ability, which are basically like air bullets, like condensed air bubbles, kind of like that of Stray Cat in JoJo Part 4. And someone suggested the name Air Force, so that's what I'm going to use. So he uses his ability Air Force to create a bunch of projectiles, some slow and some really fast, and he, like, surrounds himself and shoots it forward at Deku. So it's kind of like a bullet hell. And what Deku does is that he basically splits into two, because that's, he wants to use that ability. So he splits into two and kind of flies to get to the side of Yarashi on both sides. So then Yarashi just extends both arms outwards and starts shooting at both Dekus. So it's kind of like he's dual wielding. So Deku tries to use his Ghost Ray to kind of shoot down those Air Force bullets. So, this goes on for a bit, and they want to go full out, right? Because that's how Yarashi is, and that's how Deku kind of is too. So what they do in this situation is that just like how he said in the last one, where he kind of made a horizontal like cyclone to make himself the bullet. It was like strong enough to like destroy one of Todoroki's big ice walls pretty easily. I don't know, you guys can like comment down below what like name you want to give it, but I don't know. So as he's doing this, right, he's charging this up for a very fast, it's almost like howitzer impact, but like a little bit different since it's all air and not really explosions. What Deku does is that he like charges up a very powerful like Ghost Ray, and he wants to combine it with his superhuman strength to kind of make it even more powerful. So when they collide, there's this big shockwave with a bunch of like lights, and I think both of them would be knocked out outside the ring, but Deku would have like a duplicate of himself on the ring still, so the win would go to Deku in this case. So we get to the next part where it's Bakugo versus Deku, and this is kind of a big fight for them, since it's like I think this was the what if when I said it was like a one-sided rivalry, but I'm not sure. So wait, no, I don't think it was. So they're both getting ready to do the fight. So when the fight begins, Bakugo rushes Deku and actually tries to blast him in his face. But what Deku does is that he leans back to dodge it, and he actually touches the right hand of Bakugo, since he uses a right hook to initiate fights. So he touches his palm and actually freezes it. So Bakugo, jumps back and tries to use the explosion to break the ice. And as he's doing this, Deku basically rushes at him and tries to go for a hit. But this is when Bakugo uses his explosions to propel himself over Deku, and uses the smoke as uses the smoke from his explosion to blind him. And right when he's about to blow the back of his try to hit him with a explosion from the back of his head, Deku actually uses his reflector shield. I explained this ability in the last episode. He basically uses his ectoplasm or whatever it's called to make a shield. So that's what he does to block it. So Bakugo steps back again, and he doesn't really know what to do at this point, since it seems like Deku is basically reading every move he has. So what happens is that Deku divides himself again, I would say to 3, since he doesn't really have that much control over it yet. And he's charging up a Ghost Ray to kind of deal with Bakugo. So what happens at this point is that Bakugo uses all of his sweat to do a howitzer impact. So Deku charges with three of themselves, but that wasn't really the intention to shoot them all at once, right? So as Bakugo's charging a howitzer impact, the 2 others actually split off from the original. Not split off as they turn into 2 more duplicates. They more go to the side of Bakugo and shoot him from the side to kind of stop his momentum. And as he's falling forward, this is when the original Deku actually shoots him in the face. And I would say this would knock out Bakugo. So what Deku was trying to do was kind of trick Bakugo into doing his ultimate move, so he could get him in a vulnerable position. So number 1 would be Deku. In second place would be Bakugo, chained up as usual, because I think he would be extremely angry in how Deku kind of played dirty. 3 would be Hiroshi, because he took out Todoroki and he's basically as strong as Todoroki. So All Might would give his speech about all these students here showed their best work, or showed the best that they could do. The future generations is safe, things like that, right? And he says plus ultra. So he gives a medal to each one, and he tells Deku that he's proud of him. So, and he tells Bakugo, he says you need to be more aware of your surroundings. And he tells Hiroshi that he did a great show. So I'm gonna end it here. It's a little bit shorter than the other videos because this was only the other half of the sports festival, and I did kind of rant at the beginning, but again, no hate to anyone who criticizes me. I'm just explaining why I lowball characters. So this is going to be my next what if is going to be, what if Deku had all for one, or one for all? Oh, no, wait, one for all. No, wait, all for one. Yeah, that's the name. So yeah, so this is gonna be the end of the video. So yeah.